Thank you so much, Cyril. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Global Coalition to Address Synthetic Drug Threats. I am Brian Morales, and I'm going to share my screen so we can get started. All right, you should see my screen now.
And we can see your screen.
Thank you so much, Cyril. Well, colleagues, we are now in the month of June. We just have July, August, and September with our coalition monthly meetings remaining. I want to share with you all that this is a special session of the coalition, so I don't have many slides to share with you today, but I want to say that this month we are changing our program and not hosting our regular 3 to 4 hour meetings that we have on the 2 days. And we are doing this for a few reasons. First, we are providing more time for all of you participants to complete the Global Coalition national reports and to help provide some space for you to ask questions. We asked last month for you all to share and produce reports up to 2 pages in length that cover what the main thematic issues are. Second, to cover the main actions that you're taking within the thematic issues. Second, also our team is busy drafting the Year 1 Global Coalition report. And so we are grateful for all of these submissions because we will be incorporating them to some extent in the 1-year report, but also adding them to the coalition website. So thank you for all those that have submitted your national reports to date. Second, the second reason we are changing the format for today's session is because the co-chairs of the working groups and the sub-working groups are going to meet in person next week in Thessaloniki in Greece as part of a meeting of the International Society of Substance Use Professionals to plan for the next phase of the coalition. For those of you who were tracking the public health meetings, you will have noticed that there was there was a presentation from ISUP, this professional society, and this is a very large convention that they have every other year. So this year it's in Greece, and we're taking the opportunity to convene the co-chairs as well during that meeting and have many global coalition discussions in person. And so third, instead of our regular format, we are first going to hold our regularly scheduled meeting. So this first hour is going to be a regularly scheduled meeting of sub-working group 1.1 on manufacturing and trafficking, because if you recall, there was a very rich program that was developed for the next 4 months presented at the last session, and we don't want to disrupt that. So for the June session, we had the thematic focus on operations, intelligence and information gathering, use of existing tools, investigations, and also Clan Lab dismantling. So we want to make sure that we have enough space for these discussions to happen. So this will be the first hour. And then the second hour will be an open forum with no agenda, where we will have a discussion with all of you participants on the coalition. And we will continue to provide simultaneous interpretation, and we will also ensure that the questions and the discussions are not recorded per our usual practice. So for the second hour, you may be asking, well, what are we going to discuss? What are we going to do in this open forum? Well, the format for that second hour will be an open forum of about 90 minutes, which will start at the top of the next hour. You are free to come in, ask questions, and you can leave when you wish. This will be an opportunity to ask questions about the coalition, its trajectory moving forward, any questions about the reporting as well. If you would like to provide feedback and recommendations for the future work of the coalition, this is also a time to hear from all of you. So you have about an hour to think of your questions. And if you want to express any interest in the initiatives or ask more about any individual initiative that was presented by the international organizations or on the website, that is also an opportunity to do so. Again, happy to brainstorm on the next year of the coalition and where we see the coalition moving forward from September onwards as our monthly meetings conclude. If you don't want to send us your questions today, you are also free to email us at syntheticscoalition@state.gov. So that is all I had to say. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we are in sub-working group 1.1 for this hour. So those are our co-chairs, Andrew Cunningham and Henning Root. I will turn it over to Andrew Cunningham to lead the session for today. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Thanks a lot, Brian, for this introduction. I just want to check everyone can hear me okay. I didn't join in good enough time to do my sound check as usual. Yeah, everyone can hear.
We can hear you well. Go ahead, please.
Okay, perfect. So thanks a lot for the introduction and the explanation on how the session will work today, Brian. At the beginning, I would just like to say that, again, Henning Root, the other co-chair, is still not available. So we have today with us Brigadier Devon Naker, who's standing in for Henning. So I thought maybe it would be a good idea to let Brigadier Naker just introduce himself shortly, so that the participants can see him and hear from him. Are you there, Devon?
Thank you, Andrew, and good afternoon to everyone. Good morning in some places. My name is here, and the National
And my
Narcotics Head.
apologies, your audio is breaking up a little bit. Can you speak closer to your microphone, please? Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon and good morning. Is that
Please go ahead.
okay?
And maybe it's a problem on my end, but we have lost your audio completely now.
Yeah, I've also lost it, Cyril. So we'll maybe come back to you a bit later, Brigadier Naker, because there seems to be an issue with the audio for that. What I'd like to do is briefly share my screen, just so we can take a look at these topics that it was mentioned at the start of the opening by Brian. This is our program for Working Group 1.1, which of course is on the manufacture of synthetic drugs and the drug precursors. So if you cast your minds back till our meeting last month in May, we discussed the private-public partnerships part of the activities. In this meeting, as Brian said, we're going to focus on intelligence and information gathering. That's the use of existing tools, and for that we have a recorded presentation prepared by the INCB on the use of PICs. Then we're going to talk about investigations, and we have a presentation lined up by Senor Aldo de la Sancha Romero from Mexico, and we're very much looking forward to that. And we're not going to discuss too much about Clan Lab dismantling today. We discussed a bit about that in the last session, and we'll discuss a bit more about that in the July session. But today, if we have time, we have another recording, which is all about the UNODC's toolkit, latest addition to the toolkit, which is about the controlled deliveries aspect of investigations. So that's the plan for today. Next month, we'll focus on capacity building, and then in August, we will focus on legislative response. And as usual, I would make a plea, if anyone wants to volunteer to make an intervention at any editions of the next meetings, please drop a line to the organizers at the State Department, and we'll be able to facilitate that. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen just now. I'm tempted to ask if the Brigadier has managed to sort out his audio. Can you hear me, Devon? No answer was the reply. Okay, so straight into the program then. Would we be able to queue up the video submitted by INCB?
If you are talking about Rajesh video, it is ready.
Yeah, I'm talking about, yeah. This is, thankfully, INCB were kind enough to record a special presentation, and it will be delivered by Rajesh Srivastrava. So if you could play that for us now, Cyril, that would be perfect.
Good morning and good afternoon, as the case may be. My name is Rajesh Srivastava, and I work for the Precursors Control Section of the Secretariat of the International Narcotics Control Board. And I'm delighted to be here in this meeting of the Subworking Group 1.1 for the Western region, and to be able to share a very useful platform, which I believe is extremely relevant for the topic or agenda of this particular meeting, which is really on operations in countering synthetic manufacturing, intelligence investigations, and lab dismantling. So without further ado, let me try and share my screen here. Right. So the system is called the Precursors Incident Communication System, or PICS, and as the name suggests itself, this is a system, a very secure online platform, enabling governments to be able to share incidents relating to equipment and precursors which are used in illicit drug manufacture. Now, what are incidents? An incident could be seizure, but it could also be a suspicious transaction or order which one officer in a country has come to know of, but probably has not been able to intercept. And then, if you enter this incident in PICS, on a real-time basis, this communication can flow to the country of transit or the country of destination, and then they can act on it. So the essence of PICS is real-time data. The second important essence of PICS, I have to say, is this actionable piece of information. So, if you look at these two bullets, investigations and attachments, what it enables is that it enables people to reach out to the right contact points in the countries concerned. It also enables people to share very useful information which is available in a document or in a picture or in any other similar item that has been recovered as a part of the incident. And so the other involved countries could probably begin to look at those. Another thing that PICS does is allows for very nice analysis, and this is done through two ways. First of all, there's a very powerful search option in PICS. There's a system of static and dynamic filtering, and I'll be speaking about it in some detail later on. And then everything that you search for can ultimately be generated in the form of Excel report, and then we know is a very, very useful tool for analysis and further looking at leads. PICS has automated alerts, so you don't have to log on to it every time. Whenever there is a new incident or an update to an incident, there's a push email notification which goes out to all PICS users. And importantly, since 2021, PICS has a dedicated field for sharing incidents related to equipment as well. It is backed by several resolutions of the Commission on Narcotic Drugs. The oldest one is of 2013, the latest is of 2022. All of that recommends governments to share incidents related to precursors and now equipment through the PIC system. And really, because of its effectiveness, it has not just emerged as an incident or as a tool to share intelligence or information on a real-time basis. Actually, very recently, it has served very well as an early warning advisory for emergence of new substances and enabled the International Narcotics Control Board to recommend scheduling of some of them. And very recently, in 2022 CND, some of them were actually voted for scheduling unanimously by members of the CND. So if you log on to PICS, this is what you see on this homepage. As you can see on the right, it is available in multiple language options. It has details of the number of users, the incidents, everything exportable in an Excel format. And so therefore, you can find out exactly what you're looking for when you look at those Excel sheets. This dashboard has a lot of very important features, and I would probably speak to you in some amount of detail here. Just bear in mind that there's something called analytics, which is not on PICS as you see right now, but this will become available as of 26th of June, and I'll speak about it a short while later. Also look at this magnifying glass, and I'd like to say that as a very important and powerful search feature in PICS, but all of that a bit later. So if you look at incidents, obviously this plus sign indicates how you can enter a new incident. I'll not go into the details right now here, but there's also this tab on all incidents. And if you click on that, you get everything in this form. Actually, on the left side, you have this total number of incidents, and these are the multiple filtering options in which you can look at these incidents. So you can filter by dates, by the country of incident, by the country of origin, transit, destination, and very importantly, you can filter for substances. And these fields are actually multiple fields, So if you, for example, here I've taken this option because we are in the West, look at West and Central Europe. And if you put this region of incident, you find that there are 2179 incidents. So that's approximately half of the total incident on PICS. So big shout out and thanks to our focal points in the West and Central Europe region that have very, used the system very, very well and contributed to it in a very nice manner. So for the substance, let's say if you do not know the full detail, you just type out 3 letters, and this is a feature which runs across PICS in every field that you have on PICS. So you have all these multiple options of substances that you see on the screen. The EPH word appears in so many ways. So you can choose either one of them, or you can choose them one by one. And by the way, this switch that you see here is called a toggle switch, so or can be replaced with an and. So you can see in, let's say if you want to see in how many incidents ephedrine and pseudoephedrine are seized together. So then you would simply switch this off to and type out ephedrine and pseudoephedrine. And then these would be the number of incidents in which both the substances have been seized together. Also on your left here, this is this equipment tab here, something that I already mentioned is a recent addition. You can click on that and you would have the options of equipment also. And I think I have a subsequent slide for that. Yes, if you click on the right side, if you just click on the incidents here, this 587 incidents, there'll be a list, and there are several pages of that. In this particular case, because there are 500 odd incidents, you can click on any one of them and you would have the full details thereof. You can have it in summary form or you can have it in details. Again, very briefly, there are various reports that the system generates. Incident summaries like this. You could have substance statistics like this. Again, everything is filterable through multiple options. So you can keep on refining your search or filtering options even for the report functions. This is what I said, the magnifying glass here, and you can type out anything. And the thing, again, I've used the EPHE example, but it could be any word that you can think of. So the minute that you type these 3-4 letters, it looks for wherever these 3-4 letters occur in PICS. And in this particular case, they occur in multiple options. And and these number of that you see on the right here, this 609 or 587, these are the number of incidents when you look at that particular option here, in this case, substances. So there are 587 incidents of ephedrine reported here in PICS. That is what it tells you. And and further, then you can click and you can get the whole list of substances. It's not just substances that you can search of, but you can look for countries, modus operandi, mislabeling ways, you name it, and you can type out any of these things and you will have options that are there in PICS for the same. Again, when you click that, you get the whole list of substances. This is what I was talking about, a dedicated area with relation to equipment. If you were to click on the equipment field here, these are the various options. You already see there are 6 incidents in PICS wherein distillation apparatus have been reported. 10 were in round bottom glottal facts. 39 incidents where tableting machine or pill presses or encapsulating machines have been reported, and so on and so forth. Again, when you're entering an incident, these are all the options that you have. And if it is not covered by the multiple options provided, there's always this others option where it's followed by a free text field. All of this on the right, sourcing type, suspected country of origin. As you can see, these are drop down functions, and whenever there is a drop down function, obviously it can then be easily exportable into an analytical form, and that's what PIX does very, very well. As an aid to investigation, there are fields in which you can enter how, the method of diversion or most modus operandi was, how was it really, how did it happen, what were the documents that were collected, and these are all bank account numbers, container numbers, custom declaration, and so more quality or more information that is fed in these fields, the better is the quality of backtracking investigation that can happen, and that's very, very obvious to see. Also, there are certain fields which are restricted. This should really allay all concerns about any investigating agency that, entering incidents in PICS can compromise ongoing investigation, because you can choose. There are certain fields here, like the names of companies. These are restricted only to the countries concerned. Also, the attachment, the documents or photographs that you would want to attach with the incident, you can actually determine who this is going to be visible in. So for example, in this particular case, these pictures are visible only to the users in the countries involved, in this case, China, Kazakhstan, and Russian Federation, but not to all PIX users. And that is something that you can determine at the time that you are entering the incident itself. So this is a security feature that is available in PIX. And finally, I'm extremely happy, to announce here that as of 26th of June, which, as you know, is the International Drug Day, we will have this PIX analytics feature in PIX also. Right now, it is not there, but it is completely ready, as you can see here on the screen. And again, there are multiple tabs in here, which allows not just for very easy, colorful viewing, but also extremely important analysis. For example, let's say here, I think this date option is very, very long. Let me narrow down my search. Let us pull down for a narrow range. Okay, let's look at just the last 1 year or so. So look at something 1st of January 2023 till date, and we find here that there are 552 incidents. Okay, and 552 incidents, the category is predominant category is this of ISSL, which is the International Special Surveillance List of non-scheduled chemicals. So predominantly what is being shared or seized or communicated through PRICS is non-scheduled chemicals, and the share of table 1 and table 2, these are the internationally scheduled substances, is relatively less. As you can see, if you just hover over it, it says incidents, and if you drill through, you will have the complete list of incidents for that substance, and then you can immediately open it up and see what it is like. But again, just to show you further information about the Power BI. Yeah. So if you want to know what in this year and a half, which are the major substances that have been seized, so this particular graphic shows you the top 20 incidents. Possibly looks too small for you right now. Just switch to focus mode. And there you go. These, by the way, 3,4-MDP-2P methyl glycidic acid. This is a substance which I just mentioned because of the number of incidents that we saw communicated through PICS, not for just with this one, but also for this P2P methyl glycidic acid, this BMK. So this is a ecstasy precursor. This is an amphetamine and methamphetamine precursor you see here. Because of the surge in incidents that we saw through PICS, the board actually recommended for their scheduling. So that is how it served as an early warning advisory, and the CND ultimately ended up reporting it. And if you want to look at here, okay, P2P methylglycidic acid, I just wanted to click at this one and see where it is, better to do it from the previous window here. You can narrow down and just click on any one of them, and then you can see where exactly. So immediately you see, okay, it is Netherlands which has 52 of these incidents, and United States also has some of them, 5 incidents. United Kingdom has 10 of these incidents. So this part of the world, the audience of which is sitting here before us today, has really contributed a lot for this substance, and you can easily see from this. Going back, clicking back, another very important feature of this Power BI, at one glance, you see where these incidents are happening. So 118 incidents in laboratories, 111 in airports. So clearly this is where is the major mode of transport or modus operandi. 46 incidents to postal facilities, so warehouses, etc. Surprisingly, seaports in this particular region has come down, and this is not what we would have seen if we had taken, let's say, for example, a different period of time. So that is the real power that you have with Power BI. In a very short few clicks of the button, you can get extremely useful information, and so on and so forth. You have a route flow map where you can see which are the countries of origin, where is this transit happening from, what are the countries of destination. And in this period, you can already see China emerges as, not surprisingly, the major country of origin. China, Hong Kong, and India cited as the major countries of origin. By the way, I have to caveat all of this is that every single information on PICS is shared on a voluntary basis. So countries have a right to share incidents that they wish through PICS or not. And so therefore, this is really an assimilation analysis of the information that has been voluntarily shared. It does not mean that this is 100% exhaustive information. Of course, we'd like all governments, all countries to share as much incident, if not all, that they see on precursors and equipment through PICS, but one has to admit that at this point of time, it is not the case. So there's a lot of other information here. I do not want to bore you with more details. Should you be interested, here are the contact details. We are very happy to provide access to PICS to all regulatory and law enforcement officers that are dealing with any matter with precursors and equipment incidents. And all that you need to do is to write to us with just with your name, your designation, and your organization, and we'll be very, very happy to provide access to PICS to you. Thank you so much, and I wish you a very useful discussion in the meeting. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks a lot to INCB for providing this this recorded presentation. It's just a pity that Rajesh is not with us today so that we could ask him a few questions. A few things stood out for me during that presentation, one of which is that equipment is covered. However, it seems that there are not so many reports of seized or stopped shipments or suspicious transactions related to equipment. But I think the main thing was the power of the analysis that was just presented by Rajesh, sharing data in real time, creating actionable intelligence to support investigations. This is really the bedrock of, I think, what we're trying to achieve in Working Group 1.1. Rajesh said at the end there that all of this information is shared on a voluntary basis, and that's correct, of course. But I think one of the key gains and probably the most added value we could get out of the global coalition is that if more information, more data is fed into the system so that more actionable intelligence to support investigations can be provided, can be analysed, and can be used by all of the member states. Now, I believe that Brigadier Naker has sorted out his communications issues, so I'll ask him to take the floor and introduce himself one more time. Hopefully it's okay now. Devin, are you there?
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Firstly, Tess, can you hear me and see me?
Perfect.
Yes, we can hear you. We can see you. Maybe you can speak a little bit closer to your microphone if you don't mind. And please go ahead.
Okay, great, thanks. So firstly, I tried introducing myself before, but I'm Devin Naker. I'm a brigadier and the National Narcotics Head in South Africa. And so I'm part of the competent authority when it comes to precursors and synthetic drugs and the likes. So I'm very glad to be here. and hopefully can contribute to this important meeting. And again, Andrew and colleagues, thank you for having me.
Great. So, Brigadier Naika, perhaps you could go straight into introducing the next speaker. I don't think we'll take any questions from the floor at this point. We'll just go straight into the next speaker, and maybe we can have time for some questions at the end.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. I have the pleasure of introducing Senor Aldo Galashana Romero, who's from Mexico, from the Mexico Attorney General's office. Welcome, Senor Aldo. And Senor Aldo is going to speak about the perspectives of synthetic investigations in Mexico. And I think everyone should be familiar with the large problem that synthetic substances and precursors have in Mexico, and the efforts that the Mexican government has put into trying to curb that problem. Senor, you have the virtual platform, sir.
Fuera.
Senor Aldo, did you copy us?
Do the colleagues from INL have any information about our Mexican speaker?
Yes, I see that they are online and unmuted, but it does not appear that their audio may be working. I do have the YouTube video and the UN toolkit on synthetic drugs ready if we want to play that while we're waiting. But maybe their audio might be working now that I'm speaking. Señor Aldo, ¿está en la línea? No. Oh, okay.
And we're not getting interpretation into Spanish. Let me double check that we're on the Spanish channel. Okay, very good. Now we're getting interpretation into Spanish. Can we try to ask our Spanish-speaking speaker one more time to try to talk to us? Interpret on the wrong channel. So can we try one more time and ask our Spanish speaker to start speaking in Spanish? And it looks like it is not working. Unfortunately, I'm ready with the video whenever you're ready.
Oh, perfect. Cyril, do you have the UN toolkit video?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. Yeah, if you could, Andrew, if that's all right, would that be okay?
Yeah, I think we're fine with that. Yeah, in the meantime, hopefully the technical issues can be sorted out in the next few minutes. Yeah, let's go for the video on controlled deliveries.
Good morning and good afternoon, depending on the time zone you are. My name is Antonio Valverde. I'm part of the CrimChess team of the UNODC Criminal Network Disruption Global Program. Today, I will be presenting a handbook and a manual on the strategic implementation of controlled deliveries in the context of synthetic drug investigations. The purpose of this presentation is to explain the intent behind these guidelines, their practical application, and how they could be interpreted and used. Whether you are a law enforcement officer, prosecutor, judicial authority, or legal professional, these guidelines are designed to support and enhance your ability to participate effectively in cross-border control deliveries. It has been a privilege for me to oversee the development of these guidelines and accompany experts from Latin America, the Caribbean, and Africa in the discussions for the construction of this tool, considering the legal systems of common law and civil law. I must also thank the support of experts from the United States of America and the experienced former prosecutors and police officers from Chile and the United Kingdom who also work on this project. These tools will serve as a basis for the pre-operational phase in organizing Operation Azure II which will be conducted in Q4 2024, in coordination with the operational units of UNODC PCBT ERCOP team in selected countries of Latin America, the Caribbean, and Africa. Control deliveries are a vital tool for criminal justice officials. They could help ensure that criminal justice responses goes beyond seizures and can facilitate identifying who is involved in and how criminal networks operates, with the aim, of course, of dismantling them. In any criminal justice system, each of the central actors has different objectives and faces different challenges when considering the possibility of conducting a controlled delivery. For example, in some jurisdictions, a judge could be concerned about the rights of the individuals being investigated, ensuring that a fair trial is being prepared. A prosecutor could be concerned that the evidence collected adheres to due process and is useful in supporting the prosecution. And the police could be more concerned about preventing the loss of the drugs and ensuring that arrests are made. The handbook contains key concepts and answers to these concerns from a practical rather than theoretical perspective, with examples illustrating how these concepts can be applied. It includes study cases and general ideas on the application of the different legal frameworks. The handbook serves more as a repository of useful information to understand what a controlled delivery is and how it could be ideally applied. It has extensive information and can serve as a reference and study document. This handbook on controlled deliveries is carefully structured into key sections to provide a comprehensive guidance. It begins with a background section that lays out the context and rationale for employing controlled deliveries as an investigative technique against transnational organized crime. The handbook covers key concepts and definitions. It outlines the benefits and strategic value for law enforcement. It analyzes potential risks and challenges and provides best practice methods and recommendations from experienced practitioners to maximize the success of a controlled delivery. Each of these sections provides in-depth, actionable guidance tailored to the different aspects and phases of planning, implementing, and following up on controlled deliveries in a collaborative, multinational context. The handbook emphasizes on human rights considerations and also the risks that the application of this special investigative technique could represent for criminal justice officers, providing suggestions to minimize these risks or the concerns they might have. The manual, unlike the handbook, is a much shorter document. It provides a step-by-step guide on how to plan and execute a controlled delivery and includes practical case examples and templates for risk assessment, how to request the proper authorizations, how to communicate with the competent authorities in the destination country. It also features practical cases and simulated examples. This manual provides a comprehensive step-by-step guidance on controlled deliveries. The introduction lays the groundwork, followed by procedures outlining the operational steps involved. Also, crucial legal considerations are covered in the manual to ensure compliance for cross-border cases. The International Cooperation section provides insights on possible multi-jurisdictional efforts. Various investigative tools are explained and additional resources are provided. Each section offers practical tips from subject matter experts to facilitate effective implementation of controlled deliveries. This manual outlines the detailed step-by-step procedures for conducting controlled delivery operations. It covers the initial detection of illicit drug shipments, intelligence analysis, coordination with delivery companies, and the execution of controlled delivery itself. Each of these steps is critical to the success of the operation, so clear guidelines are provided for proper implementation, every step of the way. The manual includes templates that could help criminal justice officials to ensure that all legal considerations are met, making the evidence collected using this special investigative technique admissible in all involved jurisdictions. To summarize some of the main takeaways from these tools and guidelines, first, we emphasize the importance of fully understanding and effectively utilizing controlled deliveries, the essential legal frameworks and procedural requirements, the benefits of international cooperation and coordination across borders, crucially, the goal that goes beyond simply sizing the illicit goods, and finally, provides valuable elements to support criminal justice officials to identify and disrupt the criminal networks behind the shipments. Thank you for your attention. I would like to invite you to follow us on our social media channels.
I'm not sure if Devin is there. Devin, are you
Yeah,
there?
I'm here.
Yeah,
Andrew,
okay.
okay, if
Yeah.
I could take it from here, if you don't mind. So thank you very much for that very comprehensive and very needed presentation. I always say that when it comes to drug seizures, a drug seizure or a seizure of precursor chemicals or synthetics should be the beginning of the end. Always law enforcement officers, they make a seizure, and the first thing they do is they call the media, and we don't get to the hierarchy of the organization that actually, sending the drugs or receiving the drugs. So this handbook and the guidelines are really, really important for investigators, intelligence operatives, and even first responders. And I think you summed it up pretty nicely at the end. It takes into consideration the legal considerations of different countries, because countries have, although we have international law with the UN conventions, Article 12, I think it is, with regards to controlled deliveries, but countries have different domestic legislation, and the importance of understanding these domestic legislations and reading it with our UN convention. I think it's 1988 convention, and the legal frameworks behind that. And I think the major benefit on controlled deliveries is cooperation. If we don't attempt these controlled deliveries and lies with countries, we'll never get to the organizations that we targeting. We're going to always have to have drug consignments coming through our countries, across our borders, and we're just going to make seizures without getting to the bottom of the source and the final destination. Again, thank you very much for that from the UNODC. We look forward to having those manuals and handbooks available to our boots on the ground. Andrew, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
I think that's. I think you covered it well, Devin. Maybe just to say that the manuals are available in English and Spanish at this moment, but they will be also produced in the other UN languages in the forthcoming period. So back to you.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm not sure what we have next on the agenda. Do we have Senor Aldo from Mexico? Is he available?
Can you hear me?
Oh yes, sir, we can hear you. Thank
Great.
you. Finally, we have you.
Great.
So you have the virtual platform?
Yes, just let me share
And
my screen.
apologies, Senor Aldo, can you please switch to the English channel if you speak English? Can you please switch to the English channel? Thank you so much.
I'm gonna give the presentation in Spanish. I'm just
Very good. In that case, please go ahead and speak into the Spanish channel in Spanish whenever you're ready. Thank you.
okay. Should I change to the in my computer? Do I have to change to the
Yes.
Spanish?
If you speak English, please speak only into the English channel. If you speak Spanish, please speak only into the Spanish channel. Thank you. And we can see your slides.
Perfecto. Bueno, me disculpo por por el problema técnico. Voy a dar inicio. Antes de iniciar, me gustaría, a nombre de la maestra Edna Patricia Cepeda Morales, titular del Centro Federal de Inteligencia Criminal, de la Agencia de Investigación Criminal, dar las gracias por la oportunidad de participar en un foro como este. Entendemos la relevancia de participar y de que se organicen este tipo de foros en donde podemos compartir información de mucho valor sobre un fenómeno tan complejo como las drogas sintéticas. Voy a dar inicio. Bueno, solo para iniciar dando un poco de contexto sobre las drogas sintéticas, bueno, son, como ya sabemos, pues son sustancias creadas de forma artificial, que se utilizan, que se producen mediante el uso de productos químicos, precursores químicos y productos químicos esenciales. El gran tema con estas sustancias es que no requieren de ciclos agrícolas ni grandes extensiones de tierra, por lo que se pueden fabricar en laboratorios, en sitios clandestinos, de manera más rápida, ¿no? Y, bueno, evidentemente existe una gran variedad de este tipo de sustancias. Sin embargo, en México, las que se identifican como las de mayor impacto, pues son la metanfetamina y el fentanilo. En términos de regulación, creo que México tiene un marco regulatorio bastante robusto para tratar de atender el fenómeno y acotar las conductas ilícitas que tienen que ver con el desvío y la producción de drogas sintéticas. Tenemos por una parte la Ley General de Salud, que en este documento se describen todas las generalidades y las regulaciones que tienen que ver con la salud pública. Hay dos, en el caso de las drogas sintéticas, hay dos artículos que son de relevancia, donde es el 234, donde se describen todos los estupefacientes que se regulan en territorio nacional, y el 245, que es donde están descritas las sustancias psicotrópicas. Por otra parte, tenemos otra ley que es la Ley Federal para el Control de Precursores Químicos y precursores químicos, productos químicos esenciales y máquinas para elaborar cápsulas, tabletas y comprimidos. Actualmente en esta ley existen 82 sustancias, 70 precursores químicos y 12 productos químicos esenciales. Además, como parte de los esfuerzos y del compromiso del Estado mexicano para regular sustancias, para evitar el desvío hacia canales ilícitos de sustancias químicas, se creó en 2021 una lista de vigilancia de sustancias susceptibles de uso dual. Originalmente se habría creado con 14 sustancias, en 2022 se enmendó adicionando nuevas sustancias y actualmente se compone de 69 sustancias, de las cuales 29 son precursores químicos de metanfetamina, 15 son precursores químicos de fentanilo y 25 son productos químicos esenciales. Aquí en esta lámina podemos ver cómo ha ido evolucionando la regulación, cómo se han ido adicionando sustancias al marco regulatorio desde 2017, en donde se incluyeron a la ley de precursores el NPP y el ANPP, que son precursores químicos para la síntesis del fentanilo. En 2018 se adicionó el APAN, que es un precursor químico para la síntesis de metanfetamina. En 2019 el 1-bencil-4-piperidona, y vemos cómo derivado de la observación, de las tareas de análisis, de investigación, se han tenido que ir adicionando sustancias que se han observado en la producción ilícita de metanfetamina y fentanilo sobre todo, hasta llegar a 2022, en donde, como ya mencionaba, se creó la lista de, bueno, en 2021 que se crea la lista de vigilancia y en 2022 se enmienda para llegar a un total de 69. Actualmente se está trabajando en adicionar sustancias al marco, tanto al marco regulatorio como a la lista de vigilancia. Insisto, todo esto derivado de las tareas de análisis tanto de campo como de gabinete que se hacen en relación en torno al fenómeno de las drogas sintéticas. Ya, digamos, ya en términos de producción, observamos, bueno, que básicamente, pues, los productos, los precursores químicos, pues, son sustancias fundamentales para la producción de drogas. Estas incorporan su estructura molecular al producto final. Y si vemos aquí la pirámide, pues tenemos en la base de la pirámide tenemos productos químicos esenciales que tienen diversas funciones como aglutinantes, agentes de corte, etcétera, que básicamente son coadyuvantes para la producción de drogas sintéticas. Sin embargo, pueden sustituirse sin afectar el proceso, pueden sustituirse uno con otro para producir drogas sintéticas. Después tenemos precursores, tanto precursores de diseño como precursores de uso dual. Algunos de estos tienen usos lícitos utilizados por industrias lícitas que producen otro tipo de sustancias, y después tenemos los precursores como el ANPP o el norfentanilo para la síntesis de fentanilo, y el P2P, el 1-fenildospropanol, y la metanfetamina y la metilamina para la metanfetamina. Si vemos, esto es una configuración bastante compleja en términos, como ya veíamos, no solo de regulación, sino de investigación y de aseguramiento, porque hay muchas sustancias que son utilizadas para la síntesis de drogas sintéticas. Entonces perseguir estas, regularlas todas, se vuelve un fenómeno, una tarea del Estado bastante compleja. En términos ya, digamos, de síntesis de metanfetamina, aquí podemos ir viendo cómo ha ido cambiando la manera en que se ha sintetizado la metanfetamina. En 2008, en 2008 para atrás, la metanfetamina se sintetizaba primordialmente a partir de efedrina y pseudoefedrina. Esto a partir de que en 2008 tanto México como los Estados Unidos imponen controles mucho más estrictos sobre la importación y la exportación de efedrina y pseudoefedrina. Esto empieza a cambiar y es cuando empezamos a observar el uso del 1-fenildospropanona, el P2P, ¿no? Y cómo cambia el método Nagai hacia el método Leuckart, y posteriormente a la aminación reductiva, que es la ruta que más observamos en México, utilizada para la síntesis de metanfetamina. En términos de fentanilo, observamos un fenómeno similar de cómo cómo han ido cambiando las rutas de síntesis a partir de las sustancias que se han regulado en México, y cómo los intervinientes en la cadena de suministro, particularmente en el proceso de producción, han tenido que cambiar los precursores utilizados a partir de las adiciones a la regulación que se han hecho. Como vemos aquí, en 2018, bueno, empezamos a observar, cuando empezamos a observar la síntesis de fentanilo, vemos que utilizaban método Janssen, después Siegfried, y en 2018 se comienza a observar la ruta Gupta. Y así hemos tenido, digamos, diversos hallazgos. En 2020, por ejemplo, se identificó el clorhidrato de 4 piperidona monohidrato. Es importante aquí mencionar que todo esto, digamos, estos hallazgos tanto del fentanilo como de la metanfetamina se obtienen a partir del perfilamiento químico que se realiza al fentanilo y a la metanfetamina que se asegura en México. A través de un programa que se llama el Programa de Perfilamiento de Drogas, el cual nos permite identificar este tipo de sustancias a partir del análisis del perfil que se hace a las muestras aseguradas. Y ahí nos podemos dar cuenta, los análisis nos dan muestra de las rutas de síntesis, de los agentes de corte, de los precursores químicos, de las concentraciones, por ejemplo, de las concentraciones de fentanilo en las tabletas, de la pureza eh, de las muestras que se suben. Es un digamos, un esfuerzo bastante valioso para identificar este tipo de hallazgos y adaptar las medidas para acotar este fenómeno. En términos de aseguramiento de precursores químicos, observamos que los precursores químicos más asegurados en México que tienen que ver con el fentanilo son en la NPP y el 4AP. Y los precursores de metanfetamina que más se aseguran es una lista más variada y que incluye el cloro de bencilo, el 1-fenil-2-propanola, la metilamina, el benzaldehído, el ácido fenilacético y el cianuro de bencilo. Ahora, evidentemente muchos de estos precursores se aseguran en laboratorios clandestinos. De los cuales observamos que hay diversos tipos de laboratorios clandestinos. Muchos de ellos, como se puede apreciar en las imágenes, se encuentran en espacios improvisados, algunos en zonas rurales, algunos otros en zonas urbanas. Sin embargo, casi todas son de difícil acceso, muy ocultas, evidentemente para evadir la detección por parte de las autoridades. En este sentido, observamos diversos tipos de laboratorios clandestinos en donde se llevan a cabo diversas tareas. Observamos los sitios de síntesis de metanfetamina, por ejemplo, donde se sintetiza la metanfetamina. Después tenemos los sitios de acondicionamiento, donde se acondicionan tabletas del fentanilo y observamos también los sitios de conversión en donde en términos de drogas sintéticas, pues sobre todo la metanfetamina líquida se convierte en metanfetamina sólida, en cristalizada. Ahora, en términos geoespaciales, aquí en el mapa podemos apreciar que ahí podemos ver los clústeres de aseguramiento tanto de laboratorios como de precursores químicos. Observamos que tanto estos dos fenómenos se producen en una región muy en particular del país, que está, digamos, en el noreste del país, y esto evidentemente tiene que ver tanto con la ubicación de las aduanas, de los puertos marítimos por donde logran ingresar algunos precursores químicos o los insumos que se requieren para la síntesis de metanfetamina, por ejemplo, pero también tiene que ver con la configuración de la demanda, ¿no? Si observamos arriba, hay en Baja California, muy cerca de la frontera, hay algunos sitios de acondicionamiento de fentanilo, y esto pues tiene que ver con que estas sustancias que se acondicionan o se producen en México pues tienen la intención de transportarse hacia el norte de la frontera, hacia los Estados Unidos, para abastecer la demanda que emana del consumo ilícito en dicho país, ¿no? Ahora, en este sentido, el Estado mexicano ha implementado diversas acciones para combatir el fenómeno. Como ya veíamos, una de ellas pues es la lista de vigilancia, que tiene por objetivo monitorear todas estas sustancias que no están sometidas a fiscalización. Sin embargo, las hemos observado en la producción ilícita de drogas. Por lo tanto, se presta especial atención a estas sustancias, a pesar de que no están descritas específicamente en la ley. Después tenía, como mencionaba antes, el programa de perfilamiento, que incluye tanto drogas de origen natural como drogas sintéticas, específicamente la metanfetamina y el fentanilo, que permite detectar nuevas tendencias de producción, el uso de nuevos precursores, de nuevas rutas, de nuevos agentes de corte y todos estas pequeñas variables que van construyendo el fenómeno de la producción de drogas sintéticas. Después tenemos la actualización del marco regulatorio, que como ya veíamos, ya es de por sí bastante robusto. Sin embargo, eh, a pesar de esta configuración, debido a la evolución constante del fenómeno de las drogas sintéticas, pues el marco regulatorio se ha ido actualizando constantemente para atender esta evolución del fenómeno de las drogas sintéticas, tanto de producción como de trasiego. Y pues tenemos además la cooperación internacional, en donde pues colaboramos estrechamente con diversas agencias de gobierno para atender, particularmente en la región con los Estados Unidos, para atender todas aquellas prácticas y conductas ilícitas que tienen que ver con el desvío de precursores químicos y la producción de drogas sintéticas. Y bueno, finalmente, para concluir, bueno, sabemos que las drogas sintéticas son un fenómeno multifactorial bastante complejo, que como ya decía, evoluciona constantemente, y pues de ahí, de esta complejidad deriva la necesidad de atenderlo, porque ya que a partir del fenómeno de las drogas sintéticas se derivan muchas otras conductas ilícitas que amenazan a la seguridad pública. En el caso particular del fentanilo, observamos una estrecha relación entre la producción y los índices de consumo, lo cual pues requiere evidentemente de la colaboración y esfuerzos conjuntos y multidisciplinarios para atender la problemática. Además, otro factor que añade complejidad al fenómeno es que el carácter global de las cadenas de suministro, ya que como observamos, el origen de los precursores químicos suele ser Asia. Entonces eso, digamos, eso supone nuevas amenazas para las autoridades que se encargan de la vigilancia de los puertos y las aduanas, ya que las organizaciones criminales utilizan diversos métodos de ocultamiento, y detectar estos envíos y estos cargamentos sospechosos a veces es un esfuerzo bastante complejo, por lo cual reconocemos la necesidad, ¿no?, de fortalecer los esfuerzos en materia de cooperación, tanto bilateral con aquellos países en donde tenemos este fenómeno en común, en la región, evidentemente, y con cualquier otra entidad de gobierno con la que podamos colaborar. Para esto hay diversos mecanismos que están activos y que han producido resultados. Sin embargo, también es importante que que todas estas acciones pues deriven en el diseño y la implementación de agendas estratégicas, de tal manera que todos tengamos objetivos comunes, podamos realizar operaciones conjuntas que, que incrementen el índice de aseguramiento y podamos tanto abatir la oferta como disminuir la demanda. Pues muchas gracias, y esto es todo por mi parte.
Thank you, Senor Aldo Romero, for that very informative and insightful presentation. Having some knowledge on the challenges that Mexico faces dealing with synthetic drugs and precursors. Mexico is doing a sterling job in trying to curb this problem. Just to sum up what Senor Romero, said in his presentation, the production and distribution of synthetic opioids have evolved rapidly, fueled by advancement in chemistry and globalized supply chains. Unlike traditional opiates, which require the cultivation of poppy field, synthetic opiates can be produced in relatively small clandestine laboratories with readily available chemicals, and this makes them easier to manufacture and distribute. And he pointed out the issues with ephedrine. In 2008, methamphetamine was manufactured to ephedrine, and Mexico then made ephedrine illegal, and then chemists then moved on, advanced into using P2P in the local principle to manufacture methamphetamine. Now Mexico faces a more severe problem of the manufacture of fentanyl, and we know of experiences, especially in North America, the number of deaths that have come out of the overdose in fentanyl. And I think one of the very important things that was raised by Mr. Romero is the issue of international cooperation, which is vital in this fight in dealing with synthetic drugs and NPSs. They know no borders. Countries must work together to regulate precursors, chemicals, share intelligence on trafficking networks, and coordinate response to emerging threats. And I think that's one of the reasons why the global coalition has been formed, so that we can learn from the Mexican experience. They've shared their knowledge, their expertise that they have. We can all learn from that. And again, sir, thank you very much. Andrew, I'm not sure if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, I think I would just like to compliment what you have said, Devin. And also, I know we're running over, and the colleagues from INL want to wrap up the session to get into the next part. But really, just to say that I think, sadly, we don't have time for questions from the floor. But I think because we have this extra session afterwards, we can maybe get on to more technical things if that's possible. But just to say that I think this session really captured what we're trying to achieve in this working group of the coalition. Starting from the intelligence gathered through PICs, moving on through investigations, be they traditional investigations or controlled deliveries that was highlighted with the UNODC toolkit. I think we can all see that we're moving in the right direction, but we need to get this global coalition motivated and energized and activated to increase the amount of cooperation that's going on at an international level. And I think this is an ideal way to do it. And clearly that individual countries have taken their own steps, like Mexico, as we've just heard, but at the same time calling for more international cooperation. So with that, I think we should close, because I think we're on the right track. And I'd like to thank all the speakers. I'd like to thank you for stepping in and persevering with all the technical challenges you had yourself, Devin. And I think we should hand it over now to the colleagues from INL. Brian, are you there?
I am here. Thank you so much, Andrew, Devin, to our presenters today. Very much appreciate it. I will ask Cyril to please stop the recording and then to